Hello, and welcome to Anatomy and Physiology 1 at Middlesex Community College. I'm your instructor, Rhiannon Robinson. I very much look forward to working with you this semester, albeit remotely. As this is an entirely online course, it's essential that you're able to adeptly navigate this course's Blackboard course shell. Follow along as you watch the video to get a feel for how this course is set up. You may want to open this video in another browser window so that you don't accidentally lose your place while you click around. As you've figured out by now, all of the major components of this course can be found in the left-hand toolbar. Announcements, Meet Your Instructor, Syllabus and FAQ, Weekly Modules, Lab Content, Quizzes, Exams, and Respondus Lockdown Browser, a link to your textbook this semester, Visible Body, Discussion Board, and finally, Zoom. You can also see your grades using the link here, right here. I'll go through each of these links one by one. As you follow along, please note that I'm looking at my Blackboard shell using Instructor View. Everything will be in the same place for you, although your shell may look slightly different. When you open this course each time from the main Blackboard site, you will be, by default, taken to the Announcements page. You can also click on the Announcements link to get to this page. Here, you'll find anything that I've posted for the class to read before they start any more work. I might post about new assignments coming up, changes to the schedule, notifications of broken applications and/or fixes, information that I get from faculty emails that are relevant to you, etc. You need to log into this course at least once per weekday to check for announcements. Next, you can find a short professional biography of myself under Meet Your Instructor. I don't usually spend so much time introducing myself in a course, but since we'll get to see one another pretty infrequently, if at all, I thought it would help you to remember that you do indeed have an instructor to reach out to. The next link in the left-hand toolbar takes you to the syllabus and FAQ. All the syllabus content can be found in the link enclosed. Any significant updates made to the syllabus will be reflected by a new dated submission. Changes to the syllabus will also be posted in announcements as they happen. Below the syllabus, I'll also post any questions that I seem to be getting a lot from students this semester, along with their answers about the syllabus or how the course runs overall. Moving down the left-hand toolbar, you'll see a link for weekly modules. This is where you will spend overwhelmingly the most time and includes all of the content that you need from week to week. A module is a collection of writings, videos, lectures, etc. that effectively takes the place of a traditional lecture. Content will appear in the order in which you should complete them. So this is the first module, 26th of January. As you work through the module, this video will be replaced. As you work through the module, you should do everything in the order in which it appears. Links to discussion boards will usually be towards the end of the module, wherein you can post questions to your classmates about the content. As you can see, this first week of module content in this folder is open now, and each week's worth of work will automatically be displayed to you each week. There's the first. This will open on the 8th. The lab practicals, exams, quizzes, and lab work can all be submitted up to 1 week late for maximum of half credit. Once that half credit deadline is passed, gradable assignments will disappear entirely from view, though the learning content will always be available to you. At the bottom of each module is a link to the lab content for the same week. So I'll open up this next week. There's the link to the lab content. Here's a link to the corresponding discussion board. These links here are called lab links, and clicking a lab link will take you to the item due that week in lab, as it appears over here in the lab content folder. In other words, your lab is cross-posted to the week in which it's due, and you have 2 ways to find a lab you're looking for: by the name of the lab under the lab content folder, or by looking at the relevant week in the module content folder. You're free to complete your lab first or the module lecture content first, though most of you will understand the point of lab better if you do the module content first. Let's look a little more closely at one of these labs. Moving back to the left-hand toolbar, lab content contains exactly that, links to lab activities and places where you submit your work. During the very first week, you hopefully have set up your Visible Body account so you can use the software I'll be leaning on for many of the labs this semester. That can be done right here. Inside the lab content folder, you'll find a link to the lab activity due that week. Both instructions and the submission link will be provided, along with links to supporting material or other ways, get rid of that, or other ways that you can, that you may want to refer to if you're confused about supporting content. Generally speaking, this will take you to the module content the same week as lab. So down here you will have a link that's not posted yet to module content. Let's move on to exams and Respondus Lockdown Browser. The first link you'll be shown takes you to where to download Respondus. The second link is for a practice test to see if your Respondus browser works on your computer. Follow the instructions in that link and attempt to take the test during the first week of class. As exams come available, they'll also be posted here and will automatically disappear after their deadline. You can take the practice test whenever you want to reassure yourself that you can take the exam successfully. It'll be available all semester long. It's important to know that exams absolutely may not be taken without the Respondus Lockdown browser. Respondus works well on nearly all computer systems, but does not work on Chromebooks or cell phones, though it does work on iPads and tablets. If you need to make arrangements to use on-campus technology to accommodate use of the Respondus Lockdown browser, please contact the IT Help Desk immediately. Exams are also posted under module content for ease of access. Practicals will be posted the same way, with a link to the practical in the exams folder, as well as one in the labs folder. You can see by now that as much content as possible will be cross-referenced, so you aren't spending any more time than necessary finding what you need. Your textbook this semester is the open-sourced OpenStax Anatomy and Physiology book. It's free to all students to use as an e-text. You can purchase a physical copy, though, if you prefer. So you'll click here, it'll open a new window, and here's your textbook. Where am I here? Here we are. The next link takes you to registration instructions and access instructions to Visible Body, which I mentioned earlier. We're going to lean heavily on this for lab. The discussion board link at left will show you a list of all discussion boards available this semester. To ask any non-personal questions, you'll simply find the appropriate discussion board, see if there are already posts addressing your question, and if not, you can create a thread and ask your question. Remember that participating in the discussion board is mandatory and that you're expected to also answer other students' questions. I recommend that you check in with the discussion board last thing before you close down this course in Blackboard for the day to give yourself as much opportunity as possible to ask questions and answer other people's questions for full credit. Zoom is a web conferencing service available through Middlesex Community College. We'll mostly use this to communicate face-to-face. You'll use it for office hours optional meetings as well as one-on-one meetings. Here you can see everything that's already been scheduled, as you can see on the first page of your syllabus, the optional exam drop-in days. These days I don't have a scheduled agenda. You'll simply come in and ask me any questions that remain unclear to you before you take any given exam. And on the first Wednesday of the semester, I'll go through the syllabus in detail with you. Finally, going back, My Grades will take you to a list of all work that you could have completed up to that point, as well as points you earned for it. Your grade is automatically calculated as you go, and no scaling or curving is done after the fact. The grade you see is the grade you'd get, provided, of course, I'm up to date on my own grading. That more or less wraps up the tour. It's a lot to take in at once, but I trust that you'll quickly get the hang of it as you work through the course. As always, you can reach out to me anytime for help if you're still feeling a bit lost. Good luck and happy studying.